Welcome to the Gunpla Network. I'm Murdoch, and this is 5 Minute Mecha, where I've got 5 minutes to give you the rundown on a mech. Today, we're looking at the NZ-666 Kshatriya, the number of the beast. The Kshatriya, being specifically the machine of one Marida Cruz, aka Puru 12, was a monster of a machine. This mobile suit, if its styling and paint job weren't enough of a hint, is a direct descendant of the Queen Mantha, as us old guys would call it. Otherwise, now officially translated as the Queen Mantha. I'm going to continue it calling the Mantha, so do with that what you please. As I was saying, the whole purpose of the Kshatriya, whose name actually comes from the Hindu warrior caste, implying the second highest ritual status of the 4 Varnas, fitting since it's a war machine and it's the second most dangerous psycho frame powered mobile suit type possessed by the sleeves. That's right, this mech wasn't just an attempt to miniaturize the massive Queen Mantha, but also to modernize it, as advances in Psychomu systems now relied on having the edge with Psycho Frame. Due to the loss of the Second Neo-Zeon War, however, Neo-Zeon and the sleeves were cut off from being able to acquire more Psycho Frame, and the Kshatriya became a one-off unit. The Kshatriya stood roughly 22 meters tall and had a max gross weight of about 74 metric tons. Unlike the anemic ZZ Gundam from the end of the previous decade, this machine did not have the tactical weakness of insufficient power generation. Its Minovsky reactor could produce more than 16.5 megawatts, which would be needed to power and charge its armament of 24 attack bundles, 12 megaparticle cannons, 6 beam sabers, 4 sub-arms and eye field generators, and a partridge in a pear tree. That's right, unless you were packing some pretty overwhelming firepower, speed, this machine could still accelerate above 2 Gs when needed, and physical projectile weapons, you did not want to go up against this thing. It really was the second coming of the Queen Mantha. One optional armament that would not be present in the anime but was seen in the manga would be that the Kshatriya would use a twin-linked beam Gatling gun. The machine itself would be used to various and often decisive effect during the Third Neo-Zeon War, only to be stymied by the Unicorn Gundam's new type destroy system, having its Psychomu-linked weapons turn on it. This would only happen a few times, though, and ultimately it would be captured after the Battle of Palau and go through a few changes. Notably, while it was being partially dismantled and disarmed for study and reverse engineering, it would be termed as Kshatriya Besarang, which is basically butt naked, before its pilot Marida decided to support Londo Bell and Doniger's efforts, getting refitted into the Kshatriya repair state. While not as potently armed as its original form, it still packed a wallop. Some fun trivia. This monster was designed by one of the biggest names in Gundam mecha designs, Hajime Katoki. And I'm so glad it was. For some continuity nods, in the Kshatriya repaired form, we see that a beam Gatling gun was fitted into the machine's skeletal peg leg. Not unlike a certain Gump, as Judo Ashita did bring the ZZ with him to Jupiter. Also worth noting from this repaired state, its funnels were altered, perhaps a sign of what would come in the funnel missiles that would be developed and used by the RX-104FF Penelope? Food for thought. Speaking of this absolute unit of a mobile suit, you could get your very own high-grade Kshatriya and Gunpla Network's annual Christmas giveaway, sponsored by our friends over at Canadian Gundam. That's it for this episode. I'll see you in the next one.